morning, all good girls, and welcome back to our podcast, Goodgirls. First official episode. This is the first official episode where I will be interviewing Gia on her story, how she came to be, as a woman, as an empowered, self-loving, sexy woman, and how she came to Goodgirl. We'll be taking a deep dive into that so you can get the full, the juice of God. You can get the tea and hopefully get some inspiration. So we'll be going into that today, and maybe it'll help some of you that might relate to her story. And also it'll give us more of an insight into me, half one of Goodgirl.
Yeah. I hope none of you relate. But if you do relate, oh my God, that's giving Stephen Bob.
Yeah. I was like, where you go with this?
I'm going to say it anyway. I hope none of you relate. But if you do relate, I hope you take something away from it.
Yeah.
So amazing. Everyone's been so welcoming. I feel so confident now. And before I was feeling
Gia'S. Hello. This is me meeting Gia'S for the first time. By the way, we literally don't know each other here, and this is good because I don't call Gia. No, Gia. Gia. No, so people who know me in real life, in the flesh, probably will call me Georgia because that is actually my real name. But I started my account, Gia'S, and just it kind of, I have people just call me Gia now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind. Call me whatever you want.
It's your good girl name.
It is my good girl name. It's my alter ego name. Gia is a little bit different to Georgia. So I would say Georgia is sitting here in the top right now. Just a reminder, we're currently sitting in the set of our upcoming event, pop-up event, Stupid Cupid, set by Perfectly Imperfect. Love her. This will not be our ongoing set for the podcast, but we thought we'd celebrate.
You'll see this in the next 2 episodes, and then after that we're going to release our official Good Girl podcast set, which is going to be very cute and very good girl. It's going to be a very good girl thing.
What I'm going for today is I want to get all the details.
Okay.
To see how you came to be the Gia'S that we see today. So my first question is, so what do the people need to know, and me, about Gia to know more about the Gia today and how you came to be this edition of Gia? Okay, so probably actually one shocking thing that people might find is that I wasn't a very confident person in school, and I wasn't very out there in school. I didn't have many friends in school. I would sit with my little sister and her friends most of the time. I got bullied in school because of my ears. Do you? I embrace them now, as you can see. Everyone can see my ears because I cut my hair really short. But so basically, I wasn't very confident in school. I was a very shy girl. No, I wasn't shy, but I didn't have many friends. I wasn't outgoing. I wasn't like popular in school. That's a better word. I wasn't popular in school. One thing that hasn't changed is I was always referred to as the funny one. I was always the funny one. I was never the pretty one though. Like, it sounds silly, but there was like a pivotal moment. Like I was in one of the lessons and he was in groups of 4 and everyone had to write down one word for each person on the table. And there was me and another girl and 2 other girls, and all the other girls got like pretty on theirs and I got funny. And at the time I was like, what is this? This is a fucking joke. But now like I would much rather be called funny than pretty because it's good to be funny. So where do you think that came from, like being labelled as the funny one? I just always wanted to make people laugh because like I love to laugh. Like I wanted to make other people laugh because I was like sad most of the time. So I just always wanted to, you don't want anyone else to feel the way that like you feel. So I always used to try and make people laugh. And that's like always the way, isn't it? The ones, the class clowns. Yeah. Check in on your funny friends. On your class clowns. Class friends. That was because I was like the sad person who always wanted to make other people laugh, and I just learned how to make other people. And also it did come from like it sounds like, I think it's like such a cliche thing to say, but because I didn't have like the pretty looks to like carry me through, you know, school, I had to be funny. Like, you have to be funny. That's what carried me like through school, is just being the funny one and being that. I chose that.
So where do you think during school your like source of confidence came from then? Would you say it was being funny, or was it something else?
It was being funny. It was my personality.
Yeah.
That carried me through school. And then like, I think by the time I got to like year 10, because I was like bullied from like year 7, like first year in secondary school, it got real quick.
Kids are mean sometimes.
They are, like, the kids were mean. So basically, in year 7, bullying started. People weren't nice to me. I then got a lovely boyfriend in year 9. And then he had a bit of a reputation for not being very kind to other people. And everybody kind of just stayed away from me. Like, there was no more bullying really from then, because everybody knew who my boyfriend was. But he was also not very kind to me.
Trigger warning.
The next 5 minutes of this podcast will contain themes of domestic abuse, emotional abuse, and violence. If any of these topics are triggering for you, please skip ahead, or please stop listening or watching the podcast.
He was very violent towards me as well, and pretty much everyone. I think he was just a very violent boy and very controlling. And the reason why this is important in school is because, and like the confidence side of things, is because he didn't let me wear makeup in school either. And I had to have my hair a certain way, and I wasn't allowed to wear makeup in school, and I wasn't allowed to talk to many people because of him, because it was seen as like inappropriate, or like I was flirting, or just being like, just not great. I just weren't. There were so many things I weren't allowed to do that people in school might have just thought like, oh, she's really boring, or she's very like plain Jane, or she's really shy, or she's like, Georgie doesn't socialize with people very much. They might have put that down to like a personality thing rather than the real reason, which was I actually wasn't allowed to, or I thought I wasn't allowed to, because otherwise shit would hit the fan after school.
So your self-expression was controlled from a really early age.
From 13.
You were only allowed to express. You weren't really allowed to express much of yourself.
No. But I could get away with being funny and like having a personality with the people. Like, that's the thing though, because I was like funny, got with him. And then that's another reason why I would go and sit with my sister, because I wouldn't get in trouble getting sit out with my sister. Yeah. Like, I weren't allowed to sit with other people really, or speak to other people.
Essentially, your self-expression was controlled throughout your pivotal developmental years.
Yeah.
So how long did this go on for?
So got into that relationship at 13, got out of that relationship at 17. So that whole time, so through the last like middle of school to the end of school, right through my one and only year in college, was just controlled, manipulated, abused, and just I don't even know what word to use. Just torture.
Restricted.
Yeah, just restricted. It was just horrible, and I stayed in that because I didn't know any better. I suppose I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah,
nobody knew.
So how did you, after that experience, change when you were 17, or stop when you were 17? How did your self-expression and confidence look following that point?
I suppose like I just didn't really know like what I liked or what I wanted to do. Like I literally, it's funny though, because I did do business in college. Like that's always been like, you know, entrepreneurial, like whatever. But in terms of like self-expression, especially online, because that was like forbidden. You can imagine if I couldn't talk to people in a school, I couldn't post anything online either. Like that was absolutely no.
Just to clarify, by from your boyfriend's control.
Yeah, because of my boyfriend's control, and the way that he saw it as like inappropriate and whatever. I weren't allowed to do that either. So I think when I got out of that, I don't really know. I just didn't really know myself, and I suppose because when you're in that for so long, I suppose you kind of agree. And I think I was probably stayed the same even when I wasn't with him. Obviously lots of like trauma carried from that, and triggers that I didn't realize was because of that that I had.
You're still 17.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I don't really understand those things yet still.
No. What I will say is from a very, very young age, I loved taking pictures of myself. That always made me feel good. I loved creating sets. I used to do it for my mum. I used to get my sister involved. That was something that I absolutely loved. It was just, you know, I don't know why I was so drawn to it, but just from a really young age, just creating sets, taking pictures made me feel good. That then did change when I got my boyfriend, who then stopped me from doing all of that because I wasn't allowed to do anything that made me unless he like approved it. And there wasn't very much that he approved. So then when I got out of that, I then started doing it again and I loved it, but I weren't posting anything still because of just the brainwashing of like, this shouldn't be posted online. And just, I suppose I was just shy and not very confident because of my experience. And then fast forward to 19, when I had my first daughter, and if anyone's had a baby, you just know what it's like the first year after having a baby, like you don't even know who you are. You just don't even feel human. You don't even feel like a human. You completely like lose your sense of self and you honestly feel like you're never going to get that version of you back. But what is strange of me is I feel like I never really found myself before having a child because it went from like school and being with him and like the mental and physical abuse to that being
That's
with
2 years later, isn't it?
Yeah. But I was then having a baby and being thrown into being a mum. At that time I was just doing everything that I thought you should do as a mum. Like I was, and when I say that I mean like I was dressing like I was trying to be older than what I was. Like I would dress like a mum, how I thought a mum would dress, and I was doing things that I thought a mum would do, and you know, just following what I thought was like the right path. And yeah, it just wasn't, I just felt awful about myself and I just didn't feel confident until about a year after she was born, 2 years after she was born. I started to feel a bit better, started to make an effort of myself and like going out and made other friends and stuff. And then it worked out again. And then I lost it all again because I thought, oh my God, I look really cute this night. Got invited out with my friends. I thought I looked really cute. I got a spray tan. I had all my extensions in and I just like, my daughter was like coming up like 1 and a bit, like nearly 2. So you start to feel like yourself again. I was going out and enjoying myself and then took a picture, a little shoulder pic, bit of cleavage, looked really cute, posted it online. And then some horrible little gremlin took that post and posted it to their story, basically under their status. And I got ripped to shreds by all of his followers, slut shaming me, mum shaming me, calling me horrible names.
What were some of the things that people said?
They said that I was a slut, that I must be easy, like you're a mum now, put some clothes on. Something like, you know that she slept with loads of people. Just like, I don't respect myself, have some respect for yourself. And it was just like unrelenting, like they didn't stop because it was on his
publicly shamed.
Yeah, it was brutal. And because it was on his Facebook status,
he has control.
I had no control. I couldn't delete my own picture that was taken completely out of context. Just the context of the picture, I was wearing a dressing gown, like a little silky dressing gown, and I was waiting for my tan to dry, and that's why I was like, you know, well, I don't even need to explain. Do you know, I literally don't even need to explain. I looked fit and I looked good, and I posted it because I felt good, and they took it because. And also another important part of that story, which nobody, I don't think I've ever said, is that same guy who did that, I rejected him a week previous to this. He saw me out in a club. down Margate, and he asked me out and I said no. And then a week later he took my picture and completely violated me, and it was up for days and I couldn't do anything about it until I eventually then messaged him and said, please take it down. Yeah, please take it down. I think I said to him, you've made your point now, please take it down, which I wouldn't do now. I wouldn't tell anyone.
You thought at that time that you might have deserved that.
I believed everything they were saying. I thought, how inappropriate of me, because it triggered me from like being in school with my ex, saying how bad them things were and how much of a slut I was if I did do them things, to then the first time that I did post something online, to then be told that again by multiple different people, did make me think, oh, he was right the whole time. He was right. I am this, I am that. And like, oh, you deserved all of that and you deserve all these horrible words now, because my brain was so like mashed up from previous abuse. And it just, sent me on a spiral. And I just didn't post anything ever, like for a long time. I come off social media. I didn't want to go out. I dressed like really overly modest, like not my style. It's not even about how covered I was. It just simply wasn't my style. I was dressing how I thought I should dress, like to be perceived in a different way.
To protect yourself from that any kind of shaming again.
Yeah, it was horrible. Worst feeling in the world.
So how long did that go on for, of you kind of feeling the shame of that experience and it affecting your life in a negative way?
Probably like 2 years, I would say. I didn't really post anything. I had Instagram, but I had it was a home account.
Yeah.
And it was about like my daughter, and because during that time my first daughter got diagnosed with autism, so that took up a big like part of that time. So I was like so focused on that, and that's what my Instagram account was, but it was not of me, never posted myself.
Yeah.
I was just doing anything to avoid any criticism on me and how I dressed and anything like expressive or any kind of, I hid any part of me that could be attacked or like perceived as anything other than good or innocent.
So if you know Gia'S Day, you'll know that she's clearly overcome this problem.
But
at what point did you overcome that, and what was it specifically that got you to overcome that?
I just remember feeling so utterly crap about myself. And I tried loads of things to try and make myself feel better, like the generic things like, oh, you should go and take a walk, you should, eat better, you should spend time with your friends, just all the things like when you read, like, because I couldn't find, and also, sorry to go on a tangent, but I didn't know that what I was feeling was unconfident. Like that didn't register in my brain. The feeling that I had about myself was just a feeling that I'd had my whole life about myself. So I didn't even realize that that's not how I was supposed to be feeling. Or that there was a different way to feel. I didn't even know there was a name for it. I didn't know that shame was what was making me feel that bad. And like that horrible chest gut turning, I want to hide away. I didn't know that was shame because it was never called that.
Yeah.
It was just a feeling that I felt because I'd done something wrong.
Yeah.
That was a feeling I didn't know it was.
Which was a feeling that you were used to, because that's the feeling that you got from like you've done something, proposition of doing something wrong.
You're in trouble. Yeah. This is wrong. Literally. So I didn't even recognize the emotion and the feeling that I was carrying for me to even begin to fix it. But all I did know was I didn't want to feel like it anymore.
Yeah.
And so when I started to think back to like, okay, so when did I not feel like this? Or what changes this feeling? Like what switches it?
Yeah.
And it was when I took my pictures, the same thing that got me shamed and got me in trouble was the only thing that would make me not feel like that, would make me feel better about myself and see myself differently. Because it's almost like when I used to take my pictures, and I say it now, like Gia and Georgia are two different people.
Yeah.
It was like when I took the pictures and I looked at the pictures before posting, because before people start to say like it's validation, like external validation is the only thing that makes you feel good. It's not, because it's before I didn't post them for a long time. But just taking the pictures, creating the set, doing it and then seeing myself in that way, in whatever way, clothes, no clothes, just the picture would like remind me. It's like I was seeing myself, like looking at myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like what I see. I like her, this girl. It was also like an achievement thing, I suppose, because I just created that. Like, whether I'm in the picture or not, I've just created that set. I've just created that photo and I liked it and it made me feel good. And so from then on, I just carried on doing that until eventually the goodness, the good feeling it gave me overrid any bad feeling that I had. And you have to choose that every time. You have to choose that and just not care about what other people think because you can't please everyone.
So what do you think specifically gave you the courage to start taking those photos and to choose yourself?
What gave me the courage? Just that it wasn't so much like courage. It was just like, I don't even know. It was like desperation to not feel bad. That's what it was for me. It was not so much like a pulling. It was like, I need to get out of this feeling immediately. Otherwise it will just consume me. And so I just reached for the first thing that made me feel good. And then held on as tight as I could.
So basically, expressing yourself saved your sanity.
It freed me.
It freed you.
Because I realized expressing myself gave me such a good feeling that if I held on to that feeling and focused on that feeling, then the other feeling of shame, embarrassment, or caring what other people thought ended up being so small in comparison to the feeling of joy and confidence that it gave me, that didn't matter anymore. Because why would I care about this feeling? So I'm quite a visual person, so I need to see there's a feeling here and it's shit. This feeling completely outweighed this one. And I just chose that and decided that wasn't important anymore. And it was because why would you want to stay here? I just didn't want to stay there. There's no other way out for me.
So what did that look like when you were finally taking those photos? Like, did you post them online?
No, so it was just like little sets in my bedroom on my little phone, on my iPhone, little sets in my bedroom. I would make up. Some of them were like just quite dramatic. So at the time I was like, had like a shower. So I'd do like, it would be like makeup and like in the shower, like quite emotional like theatrical pictures that I just loved to do. And then I just have them and just keep them and just create them because that's what it was. It was just the excitement of like just creating a picture or like having something in your head or like hearing a song and be like, oh, do you know what would be like, what visually goes with that would be this image and I'm going to create that image. So I just kept them to myself. It was all different sets all around my house. Wherever I could create them, I would create them and then just keep them. And I didn't post still because that was like another big another overcoming.
Have you ever posted them?
Have I ever posted any of my pictures? For people who know me, absolutely, of course.
How did you do that? How did you get to that point?
How did I get to that point? Because doing it enough grew my confidence enough that I decided and I trusted myself that if I post this and share what I'm passionate about and like what I like to do, that I could handle any criticism that did come from it. I just believed I was confident enough to handle it. Because I wanted to share it because it made me, because I just liked it. I just liked the pictures. It was as simple as I like this picture. I'm going to post it. And so I just slowly started posting. And I don't think it's funny how like it was for me because I think as soon as I started posting it confidently, I never got hate. From that moment onwards, nobody ever said anything. Well, I get some like, inappropriate DMs and stuff, but under the pictures themselves, I mean, there could be pages out there that have screenshots of my pictures that absolutely rip me apart and I have no idea, but I wouldn't care anymore. I wouldn't care anymore because they're irrelevant. So yeah.
So taking those photos, like time and time again, that practice of doing that and like repeatedly doing it is what eventually led you to be confident enough to post it.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it was just each time I did it, my confidence grew, my self-esteem grew. I felt good about myself and I liked myself. And I trusted, like, I liked myself as a person and I knew myself as a person. And also during that time, I think it was also like being a mum and a lot other life experiences that made me realize that I'm not what these people say I am. And also it doesn't matter what these people say I am, because what's important is what I think of myself. And I no longer believed any of the things that they were saying. And I realized that it was, and also if it makes me feel so good, how can it be bad?
Exactly.
If I feel so good from doing it, then how can it be this horrible, inappropriate thing that everyone kept telling me it was, when it just brings me nothing but joy? Yeah. And so I just wanted to share my creations with people. And
so what happened when you started posting this? What happened and like what kind of response did you get?
Okay, so there's a quote that says, the cost of success is embarrassment. Okay, because what I will say is my pictures that I used to post are not like the pictures I post now. And you have to climb cringe mountain. Okay, you have to
insert cringe mountain.
Insert cringe mountain. You have to climb cringe mountain. Okay, so when I first started posting, they were just on my iPhone and they were just sets in my bedroom. But I have all the respect for myself, of myself, and then pictures. Like I will always have them pictures, but they were just very unprofessional, just, you know, whatever. So I think the response wasn't so much like slut shaming, but it was more like, why is she being so extra? Like, what is the need here? Why can't she just take a normal selfie? Why is she going for all this effort? Like, she's such a try hard. That's more of what the reaction was. It wasn't so much like she's a slut, she's this, she's that. It was more like, yeah, why are you trying so hard? Like, just take a selfie. So yeah, it's weird. It was weird. And like I was extra until all of a sudden it was just something that I did. It was just something that Gia does. Gia does that. She just takes pictures. It's just something that I did after kept on posting them. People just knew me as, that's just what I did, and it wasn't bad anymore, wasn't cringe anymore. My pictures improved. And then I started getting other girls message me saying, how comes, it was one girl in particular, and she still follows me now. And she doesn't even know how like impactful the message that she sent me was, but she said to me, how come you can post pictures like that and you don't get hate? But if I was to post a picture like that, I would get hate. And like, there's many reasons for that. I won't go into them now, but that literally like got my brain thinking about, okay, so do you girls want to take these kind of pictures? Then like, maybe I'm not the only one who wants to be extra and do these kind of photos. And they were right. And there aren't many safe spaces for you to express yourself, especially as a woman, anywhere, in any kind of sense of like self-expression, not just photos.
Yeah.
And she messaged me. Another girl messaged me. More and more girls messaged me about, can you do my photos? Some of them were like asking me about the shame thing. Other girls were just asking me if I could do their photos for them. And I thought, oh my God, like, I wonder if I should create a space where women can take these photos and just, it'll be fun and sexy and, you know, and they won't be shamed because I've said it's okay. Like, that's what I thought. Like, if I can tell them that it's okay and I have the confidence to like instill into them, like, no, it's okay to do this. You can take these photos, you can express yourself in this way, then, you know, what a great place that would be. And so I come to you. I messaged my great friend Ag, who was a very talented graphics designer, and I asked her if she could create me a logo. And I wanted it to be called Goodgirl because of, it's like ironic that the pictures that I would be taking aren't necessarily what good girls would take. And so it's kind of like a fuck you. It was just, I wanted it to be like funny, ironic, cute girl. So yeah, he got to create the logo for me. And he started, I made a website. As she cries when she thinks of this website now, because it was awful. And it was just originally Goodgirl. It was just going to be pictures. I just wanted to take pictures. I just wanted to go with photography. In fact, it was Goodgirl Creative. Yeah, it was Goodgirl Creative. All I wanted to do was just I thought I would just take a couple of pictures of a few girls every now and then and that would be it. Like it was going to be, I wanted Good Girl to be like a thing, but it was just going to be photography. I just wanted to give girls a chance to express themselves and not feel shame about it.
And to have those photos that you were creating.
Yeah.
And feel like it was okay.
Yeah, and to feel good about themselves. Because I did feel good about myself when I did them, and I thought that maybe other people would feel the same. And then, so to find out
what happened next, tune into episode 4. So what would you, as a final question, what would you, Gia'S, in this moment now, have said to Gia'S back then, when you were first being shamed?
I would tell her to please. I don't know, why is it going to make me upset? I'm about talking to like my past self. She makes me want to cry. I can't do that.
It's called inner child work.
Why does it make me so sad? I think it's so weird. I can't talk to my younger self. Oh, that is so fucking weird. What the fuck is happening?
It's your inner child.
I would just tell her to like stick up for herself and like believe in herself and stop letting other people like determine who you are and control you. Just well, that's hard to do. I can never do that as a child. I can never do that as a child.
It heals your after.
Not me crying.
And if you're, that's what it's all about. We're about real emotions here, everybody. So okay to cry. This is a safe space.
Yeah, safe space.
What if that Gia saw you now, what would she think?
I don't think she would believe it. I don't think she would think that that's possible to like how expressive I am and how little I care about like what other people think of me. I don't think she would believe. I think she like, I don't know, she would just be very proud and wonder how I got here. Like wonder what has happened in the last, how many years is it? 6 years, 7 years? 6 years. She would wonder what's happened in the last 6 years for me to be where I am today. And I don't think that she would think that the same thing that made her feel how she's feeling now would be the same thing that gets her to where she is today. Like, I don't think she believes that the pain turns into power.
So if you had to summarize in one word what did actually get you from there to here, what would you say?
One word.
What was it?
Authenticity. Yes. Authenticity. You can't run away from yourself. In the end, you're always going to come back round to being who you are and what you're meant to do, because any other version is torture. To withhold, like to maintain. Any other version of yourself that isn't authentic is torture to maintain. So authenticity will always get you to where you're supposed to go. Every single time. In the next episode, we're going to be talking to Ag and her story of how she came to be right up until, I don't know what,
right up until the same point that we just got to.
The same point of collision of
Goodgirl.
Collision of Goodgirl.
Goodgirls first stats.
So tune in for that. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, don't forget to like, follow and subscribe on all of our platforms. You can find us at It's a Good Girl Thing. And don't forget to stay sexy.
So amazing. Everyone's been so welcoming. I feel so confident now.